Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Come on. Come on in. Please click like and share. I'm glad to see everyone. I just want to make sure I'm showing up everywhere I need to show up. I am not going to hold you long, but I do want to um, discuss something with you. So come on in. Please click like and share. Please share with your communities, share on your pages and your platforms. I said I would come in early. I know that this is the time for most of us where we have not said anything to anybody. We have not had our coffee for some of us. I have not had my coffee. We're getting children ready. We are deciding what to wear. We're scrolling through social media. And so I said, I wanted to come on and discuss something real quick. Good morning, cousin. I wanted to come on and discuss something really quickly. And the only reason why I know about this is because my good sister, Dr. Alicia Jones, posted this on her Instagram page, and I did not know. So then, of course, I had to do some quick research, and that is why I said, let me come on right now and provide some context to what is going on. What did she post? I'm glad you asked. Um, well, before I get into that, good morning. I'm Natasha Robinson. I'm the creator and curator of Legalese Please. This is a digital platform that is designed to decode, demystify, and deconstruct legal language. And we do it for the everyday person. We want to make sure that language or the lack thereof, comprehension or lack thereof, is not a barrier to understanding how criminal law and law in general can affect you. Good morning, Sherry. How you doing? And as people come in, I greet them. All right. I come in and I greet everyone that I see. So if you are just coming on, please click like and share on your platforms. And if you are watching the replay, I ask you to do the same. I'm greeting everyone in Facebook land, and I'm greeting everyone on YouTube. All right. So, as I said, this morning, there was a report that came out of all of pretty much the news outlets. And the news outlets was talking about how a Mississippi grand jury, good morning, Mia, how a Mississippi grand jury decided not to indict Carolyn Bryant. Good morning, Sora. How you doing, T? Um, they decided not to indict Carolyn Bryant. Who is Carolyn Bryant? Carolyn Bryant is the woman who falsely accused Emmett Till, and ultimately it led to his murder, not death. It led to his murder. Um, and so she had been found. She had been evading the law, and she was located. She is much older now, and I believe she may live with some health issues. In any event, she was located and found not to be criminally liable in the murder of Emmett Till. All right. And so to keep my mind focused on what uh, we are discussing today, if I had to title this, I would call it the whiting of wrongs. Okay. The whiting of wrongs. I'm going somewhere. So just stay with me. If you're coming in, click like and click share. I call this the whiting of wrongs. Whenever a person is facing criminal liability, whenever a person is facing um, a possible crime, there are allegations against this person. The prosecutor is the attorney who ultimately has the discretion makes a decision about whether or not to charge a person with a crime. Okay. Now, there are number of ways in which they can do this, and I am going somewhere. And I typed this really quickly, so if I misspell or anything like that, just correct it, and we're going to keep moving. All right, there are 4 ways a person can be charged criminally. There are 4 ways, usually, a person can be charged criminally. All right. The first way is through a ticket or a citation. A ticket or a citation. So think of if you are speeding down the street, the police pulls you over, you are going so many miles over the speed limit. You are issued then a ticket, okay, like a traffic ticket or a citation, it's called in some states, which indicates that you have violated the law in some way, allegedly, and you are to show up in court on that day. And then you are to plead not guilty or to plead guilty, pay a fine, go to traffic school, what have you. Okay. You can also have tickets written against you initially if you are, especially here in Illinois, if you are accused of violating a traffic offense and it is considered to be a misdemeanor. So let's review. Usually there are 2 big groups of crimes that criminal activity and mindset can fall into. It can fall into felonies, which means that a person can face punishment starting with a year in prison all the way up to life in prison. And in some states, they can face a death penalty depending upon the charge. Misdemeanors are the class of, or I should say, collection of crimes for which a person faces less punishment, 364 days in jail or less. So it could be supervision, which is where the court or the jurisdiction monitors you to make sure that you are not committing any additional offenses, conditional discharge, which is a misdemeanor conviction, and then probation. Okay. You can also get probation on felony. It depends upon the severity of it. Come on in and be quiet. My boss is coming in. Come on in and be quiet. You can stand right next to me, but you got to be quiet. Shh. I tell you. All right. This is my daughter, Grace. She's going to stand here and listen. So you have felonies and you have misdemeanors. The first way that you could be charged with a crime is by way of a ticket or citation. Those are usually for misdemeanors, misdemeanor traffic offenses, things where, you've driven so fast, you have, violated the traffic code in some way. That is the first way. Okay. The second way, the second way is a complainant. The second way is a complainant. Complaint, I should say, is when it's a much longer written criminal offense. And what it'll say is, let's say, for example, in Illinois, it'll say people of the state of Illinois versus Natasha Robinson. Natasha Robinson violated 720 ILCS, which stands for the Illinois Compiled Statutes, which is the criminal law section of the law, that she violated 720 ILCS 5/12, which I believe is battery. And so what they will say is Natasha Robinson has violated this law by saying or doing something that violates Illinois law in that, and it will describe in general and in specifics the date, the time, and the location that I am alleged to have committed this crime. All right. That is a complaint, and that is usually done in misdemeanors. Now, it sometimes can be done in felonies, but it is only temporary. It is only temporary. All right. Hold on a minute, please. Yes.
One thing, I want to talk to them.
Okay. Can you wait until mommy finishes and then you can talk to them?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All right. The third way is through information. Information is when, after a preliminary hearing, and there is a finding of probable cause, that then the prosecution comes with a formal list of charges. And the formal list of charges is saying, okay, you have committed let's say battery, you have committed attempted murder, you have committed whatever. And what they do is most times is that, say, for example, you want to get into my room, my office right now. And you can get into my office by way of the window. You can get into my office by way of the ceiling. You can get into my office by way of the vent. You can get into my office by way of the door. But all of those are examples for how you are trying to get into this room. It's the same way when we're talking about crimes. Whenever you hear the news say that there are so many counts that are being lodged against a person, it's not saying that this person went out and did a whole bunch of stuff per se. What it is saying is that there are different ways in which that person can be charged with a crime. All right. So information gives the formal announcement, the formal notification that a person is going to be charged and is facing these particular crimes. That usually happens only in felonies. Okay. Information usually happens only in felonies. And then the last way is an indictment. This is where we go into what happened with Carolyn Bryant. Carolyn Bryant was the subject of an investigation in the state of Mississippi for her actions that led to the murder of Emmett Till. An indictment usually comes by way of the discretion of the prosecutor. Remember, I told you the prosecutor is the attorney that brings criminal charges against a person. And so the prosecutor can decide to bring charges directly through way of a complaint, which can lead to information, or the prosecutor can say, I wash my hands of it. I'm going to let the community decide. And the community comes by way of the grand jury. I want you to think back to when Breonna Taylor was murdered. You had the Kentucky Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, who could have easily brought criminal charges against the police officers. But what he did was he said, I'm going to let the grand jury decide. And so they convened a grand jury hearing, which the prosecution gets to present evidence by way of testimony from some of their prosecution witnesses. The grand jury gets to question the witnesses directly. And then the grand jury will come back with one of two decisions. One decision that says true bill, which means there is enough information to charge a person with the crime, or no true bill, which is to say that there is not enough evidence to charge. Hold on a minute. There's not enough evidence to charge the person with a crime. Now, some prosecutors can kind of get slick or lose some courage when it is a high profile case. And also you are to understand that the grand jury can only vote on those charges that are presented to them. So with Breonna Taylor and her murder, the grand jury was only able to vote on charges that were presented to them. So you cannot necessarily vote on a charge of first degree murder if the prosecution does not submit that as a charge. So in this case, you have Carolyn Bryant, who is being investigated, and the prosecution is bringing up witnesses that are testifying to what they observed and what they heard. Now, I understand this is 1950 something.
Yeah, 1950 something.
1950 something. Would
Yeah.
you know the year?
Mama, you didn't talk to them.
Okay, you don't talk to them yet. But what's the year? Do you know the year that Emmett Till was murdered?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Well, Mama's finna tell you. Okay. It was 1955.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was before I was born. That's definitely before you were born. Okay. So what happens is that when Emmett Till is killed in August 1955, please stop. then what happens is that a warrant is issued and then somehow it magically disappears. The killers of Emmett Till did have a trial. They were found not guilty. That's a whole different topic for a different day. But what I want you to know is that when the grand jury was presented with this evidence or testimony against Carolyn Bryant, understand that yes, the grand jury can only vote on the charges that the prosecutor brings. Yes, they get to cross-examine the witnesses that the prosecution calls. And no, the defendant or defense attorneys do not have a right to be present or to ask questions of the witnesses. The only persons who are there in the grand jury room is the grand jury itself, the prosecutor, and the witnesses, and maybe the sheriff to ensure the protection of the people that are there. Okay, so let's review. 4 ways a person can be charged criminally. They can be charged by way of a ticket or a citation. That's usually for misdemeanors. They can be charged by way of a complaint, which indicates the who, what, when, where, why, and how in the way that you are charged criminally. It can also work for felonies, but usually felonies are upgraded to an information if there is a preliminary hearing and a finding of probable cause, meaning there's enough evidence at this time to bring criminal charges against a person. But some ways, particularly the way for Carolyn Bryant, what they had was a prosecutor, probably because it was a high-profile case and because the pressure from the public to charge this woman and hold her accountable, no matter her illness, no matter her age, she needs to be held accountable. And so the prosecution said, well, rather than us catch the heat for bringing charges against this very elderly, very sickly woman, we're going to see if the grand jury, those people that we convene, are going to bring the charges. So we're going to shift the responsibility from us to the grand jury. So then the grand jury, once they come back with their true bill, there's enough evidence, or as they did, no true bill, then the prosecutor can say, hey, I tried to bring charges against Carolyn Bryant, but the grand jury decided not to. Okay, so the reason why I call this the whiting of wrongs is because people in this case continue to protect their own. They continue to cape for their own. They continue to not hold each other legally accountable. And there are some people who believe that no matter what they've done, once they reach a certain age or they have certain illnesses, then everything should be forgotten. I want you to think about John Burge. I want you to think about the McMichaels, who were the killers of Ahmaud Arbery, who were saying, now I'm living with all these illnesses and I would rather be in federal prison than the state prison. I'm not discounting illness. I'm not discounting age. But I don't want to hear it. Because what you want to do is you want to benefit from the protection of your life when you took the life of someone else. It was not accidental. It was not reckless. It was not negligent. It was on purpose. On purpose. And I am sick and tired of this blanket. Well, you know, she's 70, she's 75, she's 80. I could give a damn. Okay. I came on here to say what I couldn't say on Court TV. I couldn't give a damn how old she is. I couldn't give a damn if they have to carry her into that courtroom. You have someone who was killed based upon a lie that she told. And I believe that she should still be held legally accountable. Now, what does this mean in terms of future? What it means is that they could possibly bring different charges against her, but they're not going to. They could try her at a federal level, but even that is a stretch. They're probably not going to do that. They're going to let this woman live out the rest of her days, and they are going to hide behind the aesthetics of justice. They're going to hide behind the aesthetics of justice. So I want you to know, which is why I came on, that when we are talking about how a person is charged, we are talking about the different ways in which they can be charged, ways that the legislature, the lawmaker, gives the rights and protocol and procedure for that. And also understand that it can be very strategic. It can be very political. It just depends upon where the case is and who is leading the case. All right. So I told you, I'm not going to hold you long. It is 8:37. I came on here at 8:15. We're hustling and bustling. If you have not already, click like and share on the platform. I just wanted to provide the context for the content that we are going to be hearing about today. And yes, we are going to be feeling emotional, but I also want us to feel emotional and informed. That's what I'm asking of you. Okay. The system is going to stay systeming. And it is our job, our responsibility, our call to make sure that we are informed, that we are angry, that because rage is holy, let's be clear, and sacred, that we can be sad, and this can not allow us to stop doing what we need to do. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I don't see all of the questions, but I will come back later on the different lives and answer them as best as I can. All right, so if you want to subscribe to the Legalese Please YouTube channel, this is the information. Is HTTP, actually it's HTTPS. That's what it is. Let me change that while I'm looking at it. HTTPS colon bit.ly/ I should say, Legalese Please. If you want to stay in touch with me, this is the way in which you can reach me until my website goes live. You just go to Linktree and you type in my government name and then Esquire, and you are able to find me. If you want to email me with further questions or concerns, you can email me at legaleseplease@gmail.com. Okay. And then I'm all over social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Okay. So I just wanted to come on and provide the context for the content. I wanted to get in really quick and then get out. And so now I leave you to the balance of your day. I have an outstanding date with my daughter where I am going to watch season 3 of Bluey, Ashe and Amen. And I thank you all for coming to this side of the internet. Always know that Legalese Please is here for you, even though I have different services that I provide. Understand that Legalese Please is still going to offer communal offerings designed to inform and empower us. Okay, we build you up by breaking it down, breaking the language, breaking the barriers, and ultimately breaking each and every person and limitation that tries to oppress us, that oppresses. We are living in the moment and in the embodiment of liberation, in mind, in body, in spirit, and in knowledge. So there you have it. All right. Please click like, click share. Blessings to you. You all have a phenomenal, phenomenal day. Bye-bye.